Hello there, my crafty friends. It's Ashley Pfeiffer, the maker behind Stamped AF. This week's video is focusing on the coordination product release, which is available to customers on February 4th until March 31st while supplies last. If they sell out on February 4th, they are gone. So if you are wanting to add these to an order, I would suggest you do that on Tuesday because I think some of them are going to go fast. So I don't have all of the products yet. There are some that I won't get at all. But I do have the Ladybug dies. This one I've gone back and forth on. I don't have it yet, but I think it's going to make it into my order this week. There are the birthday dies, and then there is the Pleased as Punch Designer Series paper. And this, let me tell you friends, is amazing. So it is, how many sheets? 2, 4, 6, 8 sheets of 12 by 12 paper. Now I have scraps left because I've been using mine. So these all coordinate with a punch from Sale-a-bration or the new mini catalog. And I don't have all of them. Right now I'm missing the tulips, and that is going in my next order. I've been on the fence with that one as well, but we're finally adding that. So this one obviously matches with the umbrella builder punch. And then it's got these gorgeous little raindrops on the back. This one coordinates with the small bloom punch, which is a level 2 Sale-a-bration offering. So it's free with a $120 order. And then it's got this wonderful rainbow on the back. This coordinates with the hearts from the Heartfelt bundle. And then it's got a petal pink gingham on the back. And then this one obviously coordinates with a tulip builder, and it has just a fun green stripe, diagonal stripe pattern. So I want to show you a couple of the projects I've made using this Pleased as Punch DSP, which is highly addictive. So here is one just using the umbrella with the rainbow. Well, I mean, this one is actually an umbrella on the sheet. So there's that. And then this one with the hearts. And these ones are all pretty simple. And then this one. And this is actually a side folding card. So you've got that little bit of ribbon on the inside. But it came to me and I just love it. I think it turned out really great. So those are the Pleased as Punch DSP. There is one more card that is going to have that paper, but I'm going to show that one to you last because that's the one we're making. Let's add a little bit more light here. Okay, so there are those fun 3. Now one of the other products is the birthday cake dies. So this stamp set is a Sale-a-bration offering, free with a $60 order. And this wasn't one I was going to get either. And then I started seeing samples and wowza. So this has dies to cut out the full cake. You can cut out the cake and the flowers. You can cut out just the flowers. And then you've got these 2 fun foliage elements and then a cake stand. So I've done a couple samples using these supplies. That was a really hard thing to say. I'm not sure why. So just a couple that I had already done. So this one was on my blog earlier this week. This was my entry for the Global Design project this week, which was Real Red, Flirty Flamingo, and Whisper White. And it's just a nice, plain and simple card. This is actually on my YouTube channel as well because it's a Facebook Live replay. So on Facebook, on YouTube, on my blog. And then this is one that I made today, and it's all gold and white. So it's using the Golden Honey DSP, which is another $60 Sale-a-bration item, free with a $60 order. And then I've used the dies, and I embossed everything in gold and did no coloring, just left it Whisper White and gold. Sorry for that shake. And then this was another one that I did today, and try as I might, I cannot get this scallop stitched die to go straight. I've tried twice, and as I'm looking at it again, it's crooked. But I used the foliage dies, I used the cake dies, and I just did a little bit of watercoloring, so to speak. just looking around, I think that's all I have for those ones for now. But if you like that cake in the Sale-a-bration catalog, you're definitely going to want the dies to go with it. Okay, so now it's time for my favorite one, and that is the little Ladybug. So this is a host stamp set. You can only get this free with a $375 order in Canada. And so the dies are part of the coordination. So I would highly recommend getting these. I know that this stamp set is highly sought after, and the BOGO sales after the catalog is done is probably going to be nuts, but I would highly suggest getting the coordinating dies. So you've got the dies to cut the flowers, all of the ladybugs, you've got some grass, some leaves, this adorable little action dash line, which I just love. It's adorable. So I'm going to show you my favorites with this one. A couple of them might be projects you've already seen, like this one. So this is a double Z fold card, and I use the Peaceful Poppies DSP. So when it's closed, it looks like this, and you've got like this little ladybug that looks like she's up to something naughty, and then these little ones, and then you open it up. Oh, and this one looks like he's just flying behind the flower, and then you open it up, and it's adorable. So I do have a video on that one on my YouTube channel. I feel like I have more samples of these I just haven't found. This is one that I did in my Pretty AF group. I collaborate with Tiffany Almeida, if you haven't heard of Pretty AF. This is a collaboration with Tiffany Almeida in the States, and for my Valentine's Day Facebook Live last Thursday, I made this card. And it's on a wobble, and her little leg keeps getting stuck. But if you would like to know more about that group, just send me a message, or you can go and request access. It is $15 per month to join, whether you are in Canada or the States. So just go answer our questions and you will get access. There'll be a PayPal invoice, and renews automatically until you cancel it. So those were the two ladybugs, and now I'm going to show you the one that we're going to make today. So this is just a little spinner card, and in the end it ended up being a little tight because I had to remount the circle. I had tried using white embossing and it just wasn't working. But it moves until it gets stuck, usually on the bottom, I think because I popped the top of the flower up. But I still think it's adorable. So it says thinking of you on the outside, and then spread your wings and fly on the inside, and I used a little bit of that Pleased as Punch DSP on the inside. So let me show you how I made this. Okay, so that is the card base. Easy peasy. And then we're going to use some of that raindrop paper on the top. I believe I mounted this all to a piece of Whisper White, so I'm just going to get a mat. Just going to take a 4 by 5 1/4 mat, and we'll glue that down. And then we also need a little strip of the green, so I'm just going to cut that. It doesn't really matter which way it goes because it's going to be a diagonal stripe either way. About 2 inches by 4 inches. And we will glue both of those onto our paper. We are going to be die cutting this, so I don't want to put adhesive in the middle. Okay, so we're not cutting through our card base. We are going to put this on. We'll use washi tape. I will tell you what size these are in just a moment. So it is, I keep my dies on a magnetic sheet like this. It is the largest, so it would be the second largest, and the 1, 2, 3, I think it's the 4th smallest. But So it cut the cardstock away from there because it wasn't glued together, and that's fine. Now, what I wanted to mention was that in my sample, I used pennies. We are going to use a circle punch this time, just to give you options, because if you don't have coins or you'd prefer not to use them, maybe you have to mail it and you don't want the extra weight, I will show you the cardstock option. So we are keeping this inner circle because that's going to cover this piece of cardstock again. So we'll just put some glue on here. And now that is going to fit in the middle again. You need to make sure that your drops are going the same way. I mean, you could probably turn them on an angle, but it would look kind of funny. Now we're not going to get rid of this little channel yet because that is going to help us place our circle perfectly, because you want it to be centered. You can put that in. It's kind of like a placeholder, and then you know that you'll have the same amount on all sides. And you could hang on to that for another project if you'd like. Okay, so I happen to have a ladybug already stamped over here. So we're gonna do a bit of coloring. We still need to stamp our flower. But I think what we could do is we can mount this to our card base. And we are going to use the foam adhesive strips. You could use dimensionals, but this covers more space. So you want it to be fairly close to the side because you don't want your foam tape to interfere with the movement. Now right now I have the 1-inch circle punch, but we're definitely going to have to go smaller given how close this is to the edge. Let's try the 3/4 inch. That should be about the size of a penny. So we just need to punch a few of those. Technically you only need 2, but I think I'm going to stack mine just to give some extra strength. So we can glue those together onto a piece of the lovely lily impressions. I'll have it listed in my supplies, but let's do that on there because then we can just die cut that and not have to color or worry about it. Oh, we might as well stamp our sentiment in here while we're here. So I've got thinking of you. We're going to stamp that right in the middle. And then let's put spread your wings and fly for the inside. And I just happen to have another little piece of that Please Just Punch rainbow paper, so we might as well put another strip in there. Make it a little bit bigger this time. I'll fix that later. Okay, so now we can adhere this in. So that is all the stamping done. We can now re-adhere, well, not re-adhere, we can adhere this piece to our card front. Foam strips are a little bit taller than dimensionals, so this pops it up a little bit more than it would be if we use Stampin' Dimensionals. A little bit of extra height. So now we're going to take this guide back and we can put some dimensionals on here. We're not going to put it close to the edge because we don't want it to impact how well our bug turns. So I'm going to put them all in the middle. And I'm not going to adhere them quite yet. So we can set that aside for a couple of minutes. We're going to do some coloring now. Okay, so Real Red. This one is the dark. And I don't end up doing a whole lot of shading on the wings. So we are ready to die cut that and the leaf. Let's do the flower. And I like the double pop of red by coloring the flower with the Real Red. There we go. And then for the middle, we'll just use the Mango Melody again. I'm gonna blend. I've already got enough red in there. There we go. So now we can do this flower. And I actually fussy cut it on my sample because I didn't want any of the white showing. It's up to you if you want to do that or not. Get our little ladybug ready. Actually, we don't need this one on here. I was going to run it through twice, but we don't need to. Okay, so there's the stem, and then I almost forgot, there's a die just to cut the top for just this reason. So I will run all three of those through. Okay, so there's the ladybug, there's the top of the flower. Okay, so we are ready to assemble. I need to cut the excess off of here. I am going to cut around here quickly. Okay, so that's pretty easy. And then when I fussy cut something like that and I don't want the white showing, I just take my black Stampin' Right marker and color along the edge to get rid of that white. So we are now ready to assemble. So I've still got that channel in there. So I know that that's where I want my inner ring to be. There we go, and then we can just lift that out. If you have a hard time getting it out, just cut a circle or cut a hole in that ring somewhere. So now what we can do is slide this under. You can use take your pick tool to move it to where you need it to be. Oops. So you want to move it so you have about the same amount on both sides, because this is what's going to keep it from falling out. Now, I am going to stack one more just to get a little bit more height. And then we can put the ladybug right on this one. I had actually used dimensionals between my pennies and between the penny and the ladybug. Now this one isn't going to be as heavy, so you're not going to stand it up, and it's like if we do this, it kind of moves on its own. But like I said, it's a little tight in the one side, but it will spin on its own until it gets to that flower. So we'll put the flower a little bit lower this time, and we will also put her on there, him, her. Now before I do that, I'm going to take my light balmy blue blend and just color around the white. And then I don't have to fussy cut this, because cutting around those little hands would be a nightmare. But this is another way that you can camouflage your die cuts. Just color the edges the same color as your background. Now, while I would have loved to have used that little motion die to make this guy look like he's like the little loop-de-loop I used on another card, one, there's no room, and two, you're wanting it to go the whole way around. So as much as I would have loved that, it just didn't work on this card. So now we need that to set a little bit before we can start moving it around, but I want it up there, kind of out of the way. And now we can put our flower down. So I'm not going to pop this one up, because that is part of what's making it so difficult on the other one. So we'll put the stem down first, fairly low down. And then we can put the flower down there as well. So no dimensionals on this one. Oops. There we go, and then we can just cut off that excess. Now, with the cardstock, it isn't going to move around as much as it did with the penny, because we don't have that weight. But it will still move around. So this one, you really have to move it around. But cute nonetheless. So you can see that there are different options for your spinner aspect of the card. You can use cardstock so that you're basically kind of pulling your little ladybug around, or you can use pennies. And I think now that I see how this works, it works, but I'm gonna go back and add the pennies, because this really isn't moving a whole lot. So while you may think that's a mistake, oh, I should have redone it, I want you to see that you can try something and not be stuck with it. Not have a card that you don't like, not have a card that you have to throw out, but experiment, play with it, and see if it works or not. So now we can put these pennies in. We can say that we tried it and the results were less than ideal. So now let's try it with a mini. I sure hope that when you sit down to craft, you get some time to play and experiment. I hope it's not all, not work. This is some of the best stuff that I do, is playing around. So look, that one is much better than the cardstock. So we tried it, chalk it up to meh, and we've got ourselves a cute little flying ladybug. So, fumbles and all, I hope you enjoyed that video, and I hope that if you haven't already subscribed, you'll hit that big subscribe button below. And I hope that you enjoyed all of the Sale-a-bration coordination projects that I shared. I don't want to bury this one. And I hope that it has inspired you and that you will consider getting some of these coordination products, which go live on Tuesday, February 4th. So if you need these or any other supplies, I would be happy to help you out. You can shop at stampedaf.ca. There's a shop here link. If you use my hostess code and place a qualifying order, you will receive a package of the champagne rhinestones in the month of February. If you're catching this on a replay, thank you for watching, and just be sure to check and see what my monthly special is. And if you would like a discount on your own Stampin' Up! Products, consider joining my Crafted AF team. You receive all of my online classes for free. You receive free access to the Pretty AF Facebook group with 16 projects, exclusive projects each and every month. You also receive the Stamping Society tutorial for free, as well as meetings and a crafty, fun group of ladies. So I would love to have you join my team. And that is all for today. I hope to see you soon, my crafty friends. Bye.